Today we want to try and beat every single Pokemon champion, and there is a lot of them, as Goh. What if Goh decided he's finished catching them all for now and wanted to test out his battling skills? With plenty of Pokemon to choose from, would he be able to defeat all the champions in every game? Let's find out. If a Pokemon faints, it's gone from the whole run and I can't use any items in battle. Full rules are in the description below. For Goh, I'm going to try and only use teams of Pokemon he has in the generation. So Kanto Pokemon for Kanto, Johto Pokemon for Johto. Let's do this. First up is Pokemon Fire Red, and we have the champion for this game, Blue. We have quite a unique set of Pokemon to take his team on with, although his Arcanine can practically take out nearly all of them. Let's see how the first champion goes. Blue's lead is Pidgeot, and we lead off with Venomoth. It's actually a really bad matchup for us, so I instantly swap into our Dugong, as Pidgeot's Aerial Ace does a little amount to us. With a freezing Ice Beam though, Dugong can pick up its first knockout of the run on Bejesus. Blue decides for some reason to send out Rhydon next, probably knowing a rock move will knock us out, but a super effective Surf doesn't give him chance to, and Dugong's putting in some really good work already. Third, he chooses Executor. The three-headed eggplant is a threat, so I go into Beedrill as he puts us to sleep. I then double out into Pinsir as he thankfully misses an Egg Bomb. We go for Fury Cutter, a bug move that builds up in power the more we use it, but we get put to sleep again. I guess he doesn't care about sleep claws. I burn a turn of sleep as we get hit by an Egg Bomb for quite a bit of damage too. Then the next turn we wake up and a Fury Cutter brings him below half as he misses another Egg Bomb. With a final Fury Cutter that's built up quite a bit of power, we take down the three-headed eggplant. Now Blue sends out Arcanine. We only have one Pokemon to deal with it, and that's Dugong. Thankfully, being Ice and Water type gives us neutral damage, and Flamethrower doesn't do too much to us on the swap. An Extreme Speed does hurt us though, as our Surf puts Arcanine in the red. Blue now full restores, 3 times by the way, as our Surf keeps bringing him all the way down to a sliver. We take another Extreme Speed to 17 HP before we finally take down the beast that is Arcanine. This now brings in Alakazam. I swap to Cypher as a Psychic nearly does half to us, ouch. We then Fury Cutter as he sets up a Reflect boosting his team's defense. We Fury Cutter again and Alakazam recovers, but he's just letting us build up power. We take a Psychic to the red before Blue full restores, and then we take him down with a Fury Cutter. This leaves only his Ace Blastoise left. I swap to our own Executor and a Hydro Pump still does a quarter to us. The next turn Blastoise sets up the rain and we Giga Drain for massive damage. It activates his berry, healing him, and we take another Hydro Pump in the rain before taking him down with a final Giga Drain, beating our first champion of the run. But there's plenty more to go. On to Johto. Lance is the champion of Johto and the next we face. Luckily we have our own dragon in Kingdra who can probably sweep him. We have some weaker Pokemon and some powerhouses, but if they don't get much action, we'll come back to them later. Lance leads off with Gyarados and we lead off with Kingdra. And yep, this fight goes exactly how you would expect if you have a Kingdra on your team. Our Dragon Pulse does over half as we eat a Dragon Pulse in return from Gyarados. One more Dragon Pulse and that's his first Pokemon down. Dragonite is 4 times weak to Ice, and we have Ice Beam, so the first 2 Dragonites go down to a single Ice attack. His Ace, the level 50 Dragonite, can't stand to our might anyways, and falls to a single attack too. Charizard falls to a single Surf from Kingdra, and Aerodactyl is Lance's last Pokemon. It misses a Rock Slide and 1 Surf, and that's a very easy Lance fight, but it was to be expected. Let's head to Hoenn, where 2 champions await us next. In Pokemon Ruby, Steven is the champion. He has mainly rock and steel types, and we have some really powerful and fun to use Pokemon here, so let's give it a shot. Steven's lead is Skarmory, and our best lead is Camerupt. We are very slow, so Skarmory toxics us, but we hit a Fire Blast, and that just melts a Steel Bird in just 1 attack. Second, he sends out Aggron. We are faster, and a Fire Blast yet again melts his second Steel type. Third, he sends out his Ace. I'm definitely going to switch here, and we have the perfect Earthquake answer in Flygon. We are faster, and an Earthquake brings Metagross to a sliver as a Meteor Mash really hurts us. We trade full restores and Earthquakes until we land a critical hit to take down Metagross. Now Steven sends out Claydol. We swap to Sharpedo as he raises the team's defense with Reflect, but a Surf just takes him straight out with no issues. Cradily is next, and an Ice Beam from Sharpedo puts him in the red as a Giga Drain does a massive chunk of damage to us. Another freezing ice beam and down Cradily goes. This just leaves our Maldo, the ancient bug. A surf takes him out in just one attack thanks to his rock typing. That's also a very easy Steven fight too. Gohs Pokemon are great so far, but we have a champion next that might be just a bit more difficult. Our second champion for Generation 3 is Wallace. He's a water type specialist, and I'm kind of worried we don't have the best answers to water types and ice moves in general. Wallace's lead is a powerful Whale Lord, and we lead off with Absol. We have an electric move, but our special attack stat ain't great. We bring him to the red as he sets up the rain with a rain dance. Wallace now full restores, so I take the opportunity to set up a Calm Mind. This means our next Thunderbolt from Absol is definitely a one-hit knockout. Second, Wallace chooses Tentacruel. I hit a Thunderbolt, bringing him low as he toxics us, putting us on a timer, before we can take him out with a final electric type attack. Wallace sends out Ludicolo, who is always a big threat. I swap into Altaria as he starts setting up double teams. We have Aerial Ace, and that does massive amounts of damage though, so we swiftly take him down as he doesn't attack us at all. I then swap into Sharpedo on Milotic, who hits us for a weak Ice Beam. We crunch for a decent amount of damage and lower his special defense. A surf from Milotic does a lot more than I hoped for as we resist it, but another crunch brings Milotic even lower. Milotic surfs and we survive on 1 HP by the skin of our teeth as his berry puts him out of full restore range, and that means Sharpedo can take him down. We swap to Flygon on Whiscash as a surf does about 25% to us, and then we hit an Earthquake for over half as he amnesias, raising his special defense. A final Earthquake from Flygon and down he goes, leaving only one Pokemon left. That's Gyarados. We hit a Rock Slide doing over half as he Dragon Dances. That's never good. Somehow we still outspeed even at his +1, so Flygon picks up the final knockout with Rock Slide, defeating Wallace and Generation 3. It's time for Sinnoh, where I am scared. Cynthia is the champion of the Sinnoh region. Her team is very scary. Gold doesn't actually have any exclusive Sinnoh Pokemon, so we're going to use a Johto team that didn't get any limelight thanks to Kingdra. Cynthia's lead is Spiritomb, and we lead off with Ariados. It's not the best matchup for me, so I go for a Spider's Web, and this prevents Spiritomb from switching out, as he hits a Psychic, really hurting us. I decide to switch into Scizor, who tanks the next Psychic move really well. We then Bullet Punch, critically hitting, and he hits a weak Dark Pulse. Cynthia full restores as our Bullet Punch doesn't do too much the next turn. We exchange moves once more before a final Bullet Punch takes him down. Cynthia chooses Milotic next. I go for a Roost to heal off all the damage, and Milotic sets up an Aqua Ring for passive recovery. The next turn I risk a Swords Dance as she just goes for Miracle. I keep Swords Dance into max attack while Milotic never once attacks us. This is fantastic. At max attack, a Bullet Punch does just over half to Milotic. With a final punch, we take down the bulky water type. Up next is Togekiss. A max attack Bullet Punch secures a one-hit knockout. Again, we could potentially sweep with Scizor. A Bullet Punch brings her next Pokemon Lucario down to the red. He hits an Aura Sphere, and he critical hits, taking down Scizor and causing our first death of the run. That sucks. Scizor is such a great Pokemon to use. Now I send out Heracross. Cynthia full restores, but a close combat takes revenge for our fallen Scizor, and down he goes. Roserade is the next Pokemon, but a Mega Horn takes it out, and Heracross is on a rampage. Cynthia sends out Garchomp next, and Heracross dodges a Dragon Rush before hitting a close combat, bringing Garchomp low, and activating his berry. We swap to Mischievous, who nearly falls to a single Dragon Rush, but we outspeed, and a Hidden Power Ice takes out a dragon with the help from damage from Heracross, and with that we defeat Cynthia, but we did lose Scizor. On to Generation 5, where 2 champions await us. First up in Generation 5 is Alder, and like Cynthia, he has a wide range of Pokemon with good type variety. We also have some pretty unique Pokemon to use now in Durant and Darmanitan, which Darmanitan probably demolishes his team. Our lead is Golurk, and he leads with a Selgor. The fight starts off not great as we take an Energy Ball to the face, but Golurk eats it up as a super effective Fire Punch from our Iron Fist Golurk, and that's a dead bug. Second, he sends out Vanillix. The blizzards come in, so we have an easy switch into our Fire Powerhouse Darmanitan, but we get critically hit. Our only attacking fire move is Flare Blitz, so it's going to hurt it to one-hit knock it out. I opt to go for it anyways, and we do take down the Ice Cream, but our Darmanitan is only on 19 HP already. Next is Bufalon. I U-turn for good damage into Lilligant as a Stone Edge does nearly half to us. Then I swap to Durant expecting a Mega Horn, but he head charges for a little amount too. We then Iron Head, bringing him to the red as he Stone Edges. Alder full restores up his Buffalo, and we keep Iron Head in for damage. We bring him low before a final Iron Head from our Steel Bug and we take him out. Now he sends out a huge threat in Volcarona. I can't swap to Darmanitan on the overheat and nothing on my team can tank it. Golurk possibly, but we need him for later on so I can't risk it. I go into Sandile hoping to live a hit and we don't, so that's a dead croc. Sorry buddy, RIP. I switch to Boldore and even at a -2 special attack, Volcarona's Bug Buzz does over half to us as we hit a Rock Slide, but that makes short work and revenge kills Volcarona. Next is Druddigon and the same problem. I have 0 switch-ins to an Outrage. He hits it and that just kills Boldore from the bat. Damn, that's 3 deaths. I go into Golurk. I have to hope an Iron Punch does enough, and it does just about, as we take some rough skin damage too. This leaves his final Pokemon in Escavalier. It's Bug and Steel type, so it's 4 times weak to fire. A Fire Punch takes him down and we beat Alder, but at a cost. These fights are starting to ramp up a little bit now. Let's head to the next Generation 5 champion. Iris is the second champion and the majority of her Pokemon are dragons. We've swapped in 2 more Unova Pokemon in Pansear and Pampor. Hopefully they can put in a little bit of work, but I'm sort of worried about Iris. Iris's lead is Hydreigon and we lead off with Darmanitan. We don't actually have much for her team. I go for a super effective U-turn doing just over half, but now something has to take a hit. I go into Pampor on the surf and we take it reasonably well. I decide to stay in and hope we outspeed, but we don't, and a Dragon Pulse nukes our Water Monkey. That's not a good start. I go back into Darmanitan and a U-turn can take out Hydreigon and give us a free switch. I now choose Duran and Iris chooses Druddigon. That means a flamethrower is definitely coming, so I switch into Golurk and we tank it well. Thankfully no burn either. We hit an Ice Punch but we don't quite take him out and he hits another flamethrower. Iris heals up but we bring him back down with another Iron Punch. With a final Freezing Fist, Golurk takes down Druddigon. Iris sends out Lapras next and I look at my team and I can't deal with his finger either, so I stay in and Shadow Punch for nearly half and Golurk falls too, putting us at 5 deaths. I now go into Duran and with a super effective Iron Head, we still don't take down Lapras and we eat a massive Surf. We do take it down the next turn, but our team is getting thrashed. I decide on Aggron to go into Lilligant. If we want to beat Iris, we have to try and set up. On the swap, Aggron automizes, so he raises his speed. We now Quiver Dance, boosting our special attack, defense, and speed as he automizes again. This lets me set up the next turn as he just keeps automizing. We set up one more dance, putting us at +3 before a Double Edge does half. Now we have to attack, so a Giga Drain with our boost does a 1-hit knockout and puts us back at full HP. Haxorus is out and it has a Focus Sash. I break it with Giga Drain as he sets up a Dragon Dance, but a HP Ice at +3 takes down our Ace and that's a big threat gone too. Iris's last Pokemon is Archeops. Thanks to all our raises, we can take it down with a final move and beat Iris. Honestly, we had no choice. We had to sweep with Lilligant. If we didn't, we possibly lost a run. We're now at 5 deaths too. It's time to head to Kalos where our team is pretty weak. Diantha is the champion of Kalos and who we take on next. Usually we have a strong team and it's an easy fight, but honestly our team sucks. We have first form Pokemon that are very fragile and I don't know if it's possible to even beat her. I'll sure try my best, but let's see how it goes. Hawlucha is her lead and we lead off with Binacle. We obviously are already at a type disadvantage. Turn 1, Hawlucha sets up a Swords Dance and this is not good, but we critically hit a Stone Edge, putting him in the red. Diantha heals and luckily we connect another Stone Edge. Hawlucha goes for a Flying Press, but our Binacle tanks it like a champ, living on 10 HP before we get off some more damage. Unfortunately, I have 0 switch-ins, so Binacle falls after putting in some solid work. We now go into our fastest Pokemon, Frogadier. We have to be faster or this is over already. Luckily we are, and with a Freezing Ice Punch, we take down Hawlucha and that's 1 out of 6. Diantha sends out the Ice Dinosaur, Aurorus, next. We U-turn for a little chunk of damage and go into Scatterbug as he sets up a Reflect, boosting his team's defense. I'm faster and Stun Spore to paralyze him and he gets Parahaxed. We hit a Bug Bite for a solid amount of damage even with Reflect up, but it was a critical hit and she gets Parahaxed again. We Bug Bite for practically nothing now, then Aurorus obliterates us with a Blizzard. This is my perfect opportunity I need to perhaps even win this fight. I go into Floette and start setting up a Calm Mind, raising our special attack and defense as Aurorus gets haxed again. We set up once more and Aurorus hits a Blizzard, but we tank it now at +2 pretty easily. I get get to a +4 before I don't want to risk being froze by Blizzard, so after a Synthesis to heal up, we take down Auroras with her Energy Ball. She sends out Tyrantrum next, but he's a slow T-Rex. Our little flower outspeeds with a Moonblast at +4, obliterate Tyrantrum for an easy knockout. Next is Gudra, but it's a Dragon type, and it suffers the same fate as Tyrantrum and goes down to a single Moonblast. Galgeist is 5th, and as is tradition, doesn't land an attack on us and goes down to a single Moonblast too. This leaves one Pokemon left, and that's her Gardevoir. She Mega Evolves, but we're faster, and at a +4, a Moonblast does enough to secure a knockout, getting a semi-Floette sweep, and probably the only way we beat her and don't lose this run. I will take that, so let's head to Alola. How is the person we fight to become champion here, and we have some unique Pokemon to use. I don't actually know how well we can cope again, but I think we might be able to get a win. Let's do it. How's lead is an Alolan Raichu, and I lead off with Geodude. It's an awful start as I forget I'm rock typing with electric. He hits a Focus Blast, and that is one dead Geodude. I now go into Alolan Executor as I don't really have a great answer to this thing. We get hit by a Psychic for nearly half, but we can take out the Raichu with a Stomping Tantrum. This now brings out the Ice Crab, Crabominable. We've got to switch, and into our little secret weapon, Pyukumuku, we go. We tank the Ice Hammer very easily thanks to our bulk. Then we take a Stone Edge decently too, and we Toxic him, putting him on a timer. I won't bore you with stalling, but what happens is I let Toxic rack up, recover, and then I counter when I'm at a high enough HP. Eventually, with a counter and Toxic damage, we take down the Ice Crab while sitting at a comfortable amount of health. Hal sends out Leafeon, and I don't want to take more damage. We've got to switch, so back into Executor I go. We tank a Leaf Blade on the switch, and it doesn't do too much to us. Leafeon now spams quick attacks, and our Dragon Hammers are just shy of looking like a 2-hit knockout. The battle is a long one, as every time he's in the red, Halful restores. I played this Leafeon battle very bad. Eventually we have him nearly at half before Leafeon takes us down with a quick attack. We send out Aerodactyl next, and then Aerial Ace finishes off Leafeon. Hal's next Pokemon is Tauros. It lowers our attack thanks to Intimidate, and then I look at my team. We have 0 switch-ins, so I stay in and Rock Slide to try and get a flinch or a lot of damage off, but we take an Iron Head very badly. We take him lower before Tauros takes down Aerodactyl with an Iron Head, putting us at 10 deaths in total. We can send out Passiman, but Tauros is still so fast. He outspeeds us and double edges us for massive damage as we take him out of a close combat. This leaves 2 Pokemon left. He sends out Noivern next. I can't switch into anything, I have to let Passiman go down here. Noivern kills him with a Dragon Pulse, and now we are in a rough but close battle. I go into Bruxish next. Noivern outspeeds and Super Fangs us, bringing us to half, as our Crunch does close to half to him as well, but he has Dark Pulse and we're part Psychic type, so he takes us out, and we have 1 Pokemon left, who is bulky, but we can't attack with him. It's all down to Pyukumuku. Noivern Dragon Pulses us, and we take it alright, and we Toxic him, putting him on a timer. Now it's back to recover stalling. We have to hope we don't get crit. I'm going to super speed this bit up, as Hal still has 4 restores. I don't know how many he has, but a lot I guess. We generally can't touch him, we just have to wait many turns for Toxic to do its thing, and eventually it does take down Noivern. This leaves his last Pokemon and his ace, Incineroar. Luckily it's a physical attacker and we have counter. First we Toxic, putting him on a timer, then we recover to heal up. After we take a Darkest Lariat, we can hit a counter, bringing him super low, then with Toxic damage, it takes him out, and Pyukumuku, being the absolute MVP, was our last hope of beating Hal, and we can progress further with a challenge. That was a really tough fight. The champion of the first Switch games Let's Go Pikachu is Trace. He's a very easy fight with great AVs. So today, let's try and sweep him with just a Mankey. Yep, just a Mankey. His lead is Pidgeot, and we lead off with Mankey. We outspeed, and a Thunder Punch still doesn't quite knock him out even with max attack. We do paralyze him, but he breaks free anyway and hits an Air Slash that we eat up. Trace heals his Bird Jesus, but we just knock him out this time with a better damage roll. Vileplume is next, and our Freezing Fist does a massive amount of damage, but he survives on a Sliver again, and sets up a Reflect boosting his team's defense. Trace for some reason doesn't heal Vileplume, so we take him out of another punch. Third is Slowbro. We've got Thunder Punch, and we do a very little amount now as he just light screens. We Thunder Punch again and get hit by a Psychic, slowly taking down our Mankey's HP. Our next Thunder Punch critically hits luckily, and we don't have to deal with Slowbro anymore. The Reflect wears off as Rapidash comes out, and we hit an Earthquake for an easy 1-hit knockout on the frail Fire Horse. He sends out his ace Jolteon next, but his frail Drill too, and with a shake of the earth, a Mankey takes down Jolteon, leaving only one Pokemon left, and that's Marowak. It's actually got a pretty decent defense stat, so it lives a freezing ice punch. For the next few turns, Trace keeps full restoring as we keep punching, but eventually we land a final ice punch and sweep Trace with just a Mankey. Now let's head over to Generation 8 where we finally can show our true power. The champion for Sword and Shield is Leon. His team is strong, but so is ours now. We can finally use Gohs Ace and a few others, so I'm really happy about that. Leon's leaders is Aegislash, and we lead off with Gohs Ace Cinderace. Aegislash goes for a King Shield turn 1 as we Pyro Ball, but we don't suffer the downside of his move as we don't make direct contact. The next turn we can Pyro Ball again, and this time melting the Ancient Sword and Shield and picking up our first knockout. Second, Leon sends out Haxorus and I make a misplay. I go into Arctozolt, but he's part electric type, so an Earthquake just destroys our HP. I'm thinking we might outspeed, but we don't. Haxorus goes for an Outrage, and that's enough to take down Arctozolt. And it's a shame as I really wanted to use him, he looks so cool. Now we send out Alcremie. Haxorus is locked into Outrage, and a Dazzling Gleam from our Fairy Whipped Cream blinds a dragon, and we pick up a second knockout of the fight. Leon sends out Dragapult third. A Shadow Ball hurts Alcremie a little bit and lowers our special defense, as one more Dazzling Gleam and the Ghost Dragon returns to being a ghost. Fourth is Mr. Rhyme, the dancing Mr. Mime. I decide to switch into Phalanx here as he goes for a Teeter Dance, confusing us because of course he does. If we break through confusion, we can destroy him, but we don't. We hit ourselves and Mr. Rhyme hits a Psychic, and that's a dead Phalanx too. Damn. I now go into Cinderace, who can avenge his fallen teammate with a Pyro Ball, putting an end to his dancing. Leon now chooses Inteleon. This is actually a good chance to use Grookey. We swap on the Tier 4 Look, which reduces our attack stat. Inteleon Tier 4 Looks again, and we hit a Wood Hammer. Even at a -2 attack, it does massive damage, showcasing Grookey's strength. I did U-turn into our own Inteleon as he full restores, and our Scale Shot did practically nothing, and he just keeps spamming Tier 4 Looks. So I swap back into our Grass Monkey as he repeats the same 2 turns Tier 4 Looking. This time Grookey's Wood Hammer does enough, and he takes out Max Evolve Star all by himself. You go Grookey. However, this brings in Leon's ace Charizard. It Gigantamaxes, and nothing can swap into this. I have to let Grookey fall, and after putting in a champion performance, he falls to a max Airstream, which also boosts Charizard's speed. RIP little monkey. This gives us a free switch to Inteleon. We Dynamax and Charizard hits a max Overgrowth that we barely hang on by. It sets up the grassy terrain and we go for Max Geyser. Charizard doesn't take it as well as we did, and in one move we take him down, beating Leon and beating Generation 8 with only one more champion left to go. The last champion for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is Jita. She has some really unique Pokemon, but she's usually not very strong. We can finally still use most of our aces thanks to the Indigo Disc DLC. I decide to only use 4 Pokemon now, one of them being a legendary too. Let's do this. Jita's lead is Espartha, and we lead off our last battle with our Inteleon. We outspeed the Psychic Ostrich for one, and with a super effective Dark Pulse from our water type, we take it down in just one attack. Second, Jita sends out Go-Go, and we swap to Gohs Ace Cinderace. We outspeed and use our signature ability Pyro Ball, and it looks phenomenal this generation, and that burns a Goat to a crisp. Avalugg is Jita's third Pokemon. It actually does survive a Pyro Ball thanks to its great bulk and retaliates with an Earthquake, really hurting us. But with a final Pyro Ball, we make short work of the Ice Slab. Fourth, Geeta sends out King Gambit, a Steel and Dark type. Even with Strength of the Fallen, our Cinderace is just way too strong, and another Pyro Ball and yet another knockout. Geeta sends out Veluza, and I decide to use one of my legendaries, Regieleki. We settle the electric terrain, boosting our speed more and our electric attacks, as a liquidation really hurts us and lowers our defense. With our tremendous speed and the electric terrain, we take down Veluza with a Thunderbolt, leaving only one Pokemon left, and that's her ace Glamora. She terastallizes him into a pure rock type, and we hit a Thunderbolt, but we actually don't do enough for the knockout, and a Dazzling Gleam takes down our legendary, putting us at 16 deaths. However, what better way to defeat this challenge than with Cinderace? We connect a high jump kick, and with that, Glamora shoots out toxic debris everywhere, and we take her down, beating Jita and beating every single Pokemon champion as Go. So our total death count was a extremely high 16 for this run. I think that's the highest we've ever had. I kind of expected it as I was swapping each each team to fit with the generation we was playing, which gave me more Pokemon to not worry about, but I still had to play it pretty carefully. As it's coming up to Christmas, I am trying to finish off the Blastoise run, but it might not be out in time, so if it's not, I just want to say now, I hope if you celebrate it, everyone has a really great Christmas. I've really enjoyed these past few months making Pokemon content. There's plenty more from me to come. If you have any suggestions, as always, do let me know in the comments below. I am also hard at work trying to play through the last remaining games to get to where I need to get so I can challenge all the champions. Without saying any spoilers, there may or may possibly be another one that we have to add. So that's N, Red, and this special champion that I'm not going to say yet in case anyone's not played the DLC. I really hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, make sure you leave a like and subscribe because it's really helping the channel grow. And as always, if you're still here watching, I do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.